No, Disney, you've got it all wrong. You don't just make a sequel to a beloved classic like 50 plus years later. I mean, the odds are really against you in that situation. Didn't you see Oz the Great and Powerful? And that was a prequel. No. What you do is you make a series of films that crush childhood sentiment by lowering expectations more and more to practically nothing. That way, if eventually you make a film that's even remotely good, it's held as a brilliant success. In the world of cinema, we call that the Michael Bay success formula. Or is it the DCEU? I kid, my DC fanboy brothers and sisters. I'm joking, but I will use you, much like Warner Brothers has used you for your money. I've said it before, but basically just don't let nostalgia ruin your movie-going experience, because in the past few years, nostalgia has created a rift in comic book movie fans. It ruins Star Wars, and if you fill your heart with too much nostalgia, well, then you're just going to live in a bubble of perpetual disappointment. Don't get me wrong, in small doses, it's awesome. And that's where Mary Poppins Returns has to live. If you go in knowing it's not going to be the original, you'll be fine. I mean, if you think about it, Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke didn't become icons overnight. The original Mary Poppins is, of course, a classic, but how quickly people forget that classics have an opportunity to become classics. They have time to age like a fine wine and be passed around to different generations of children. Well, not exactly what I meant, but you get my idea. The ultimate questions are, is MP2 as good as the original Mary Poppins? No. Is it a good movie? Yes. Was it ever going to live up to the original? No. One aspect of MP2 that I think will be the biggest disappointment, unfortunately, is the music, which of course is integral when it comes to Mary Poppins. However, with this new batch of music, I just didn't find myself humming any of them after the movie, wanting to download any of them, legally of course, Disney, but the fact is, they just weren't as catchy. But again, we're talking about a soundtrack in the original that had Let's Go Fly a Kite, Feed the Birds, Chim Chimmery, Spoonful of Sugar, and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Where's that wine now? But I actually enjoyed how MP2 paid homage to the original in terms of the format of the songs. In both Mary Poppins, the patriarch of each family gets an opportunity to be self-reflective. The children get an opportunity to be adorable and sing in unison. Mary Poppins sings a lullaby, and even the streetwise urchins get a big production number. Mark Shaman, who composed MP2, also deftly left little audio Easter eggs in his score where he paid homage to some of the original songs from Mary Poppins. So at times, you could hear versions of Let's Go Fly a Kite in the background. It was beautiful, and yes, I use that word again, made me feel a little nostalgic. But that was not the only bit of inspired thinking in this film. The casting was near perfect, and I'll get to that near part in a second. Emily Blunt was amazing, and she really did the best she could do, because those are huge shoes to fill, but it wasn't her acting or her performance or even her accent, which I felt really paid tribute to Julie Andrews. It was her singing, and she's a wonderful singer. She's proven it before in movies in the past, but I felt she actually kind of really nailed the character and especially gave her most Andrews performance when she was singing. But it's uncanny how much Emily Mortimer looks like an older Karen Dotrice, how Julie Walters looks like an older Ellen, the maid, how the children in MP2 look like a young Michael, who of course looks like George. It's just really good casting when you think about how much these people look like the characters from the past, like 60 years later. And now for the near in Near Perfect. Yeah, speaking of fangirls, my younger sister's going to disown me now because I'm going to talk about her boy Lin-Manuel Miranda, who in her eyes can do no wrong, but in this movie, in my eyes, did. Now listen, he's gonna be fine. He's a musical genius. The man has won 3 Grammys, 3 Tonys, an Emmy, and a Pulitzer. But I wasn't feeling his performance, and it's Golden Globe nominated. You know, for the first time I got to sit down and watch Lin-Manuel Miranda as just a performer, because typically he's involved in everything else, the writing, the music, the production, but this time he's just supposed to be this generation's Dick Van Dyke. No pressure there, but unfortunately I wasn't really taken by his character. I didn't find him believable or charming, and that's kind of key. And by the way, if you're looking for this generation's DVD, look no further than JGL, my fanboy favorite. At least he could do the accent. Once again, Rob Marshall shot a beautiful film though, and I really feel that his theatrical background, his choreography background, really helps him when it comes to cinematic choices. This is a man who knows camera movement, framing, and lighting. But the beauty was the most beauteous in MP2 with those fantastic sequences that amalgamated live action and traditional hand-drawn animation. And I don't know about you, but in the original Mary Poppins and films like Bedknobs and Broomsticks, those sequences are some of my most cherished childhood memories. But the pure attention to detail in those sequences is just breathtaking. How their outfits look like faded pastel, how when they zoom in on the live action actors, the background actually looks like a close-up pencil sketch, how the villain had those crazy swirling Cruella de Vil eyes. It was just pure movie magic and pure for the win. So is MP2 practically perfect? And you know what, I won't even finish that. Everybody has used that line. Not quite. But it is its own film. And it is a good film. It's a fun-filled, silly song-laden, innocent musical that just requires you to be kind of open-minded. And you know what? It may still age well. It may be a classic for this generation. We really don't know. Is it as good as the original? How is anything going to be as good as the original Mary Poppins? But you know what it is? And earn it. I'll paraphrase what I put on Twitter. Basically, if you don't like this movie, open up your heart, if it exists. Poll question, what's your favorite Mary Poppins song? As always, leave your answers in the comment section below. But until next time, school's out. Hey Real students, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe to Real School, click that round Real School logo right beside me. Also click that damn notification bell so you're aware of all of Real School's new content. You can follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link in the description below or the button down there, and you can become part of my Patreon team.